Yo, what up? It's one Sir Grove. I'll just get to the point like I fucking always do. I've been listening to a lot of Ray Sremmurd lately. Yeah. I have, man. You know why? Because Ray Sremmurd is fucking dope. Their group, man, that duo, those dudes are fucking fresh, man. When they first came out, by the way, I was doing research last night. This is C4CW, casting 495 celebrities worldwide. If you are true fans of this show, then we495 most certainly appreciate you. 79 degrees. It was up to 82 degrees Fahrenheit out here on this gorgeous fucking day of April 2020. I said the year 2020. I mean, come on, man. That just sounds fucking crazy even saying that shit. Nigga, we in the future and shit. So, yeah, man. Fucking sky is clear as shit. You know what I'm saying? You got the goddamn sun out. Fucking blue sky. Just a few clouds here and there. And they are fucking lovely ass clouds. So, business getting back to, relatively normal, usual. Checking the coronavirus numbers worldwide. I just read some shit on some fucking news site where I don't even remember which one it was. Let me see. Hold up. Maybe I got this shit still up in here. Man, I hope y'all are having a blessed day, evening, night, wherever the fuck you be at in the multiverse. Hold up. Wait a minute. Oh, that's some cryptography shit. Nah, man, so whatever fucking website that was whatever website that was that I was on, it was saying that for the past, 5 days or 8 days, I'll go with 5 on the low end, on that lowest. I said lowest. The low estimate, for the past, say 5 days, the individuals, persons who have been infected with the coronavirus, they've shown no symptoms. So it's like holding steady, you know what I'm saying? And then fewer cases of the coronavirus in these different parts of the world today versus yesterday. So, man, I mean, you can see there's been a fucking change. Third day in a row, stock market numbers are up. And on that upswing, uptick, and gas prices are going back up. So as Russia, the Federation, shout outs to Russia, the Federation. I'm talking about good folk, in Russia. I have some allies in Russia, man. Don't even trip, though. Not everyone in Russia is against the United States and NATO and our allies. Believe that. So, and I'm talking, man, I know some government officials in the Russian Federation type shit. You know what I'm saying? Got some homies over there. And, alliances. So, the point is that as Russia and Saudi Arabia have been going back and forth in terms of negotiating oil prices and what have you, the numbers have gone back up. So that means that the price of oil per barrel, looking at ratios and shit, input X, output Y, functions of a fucking economy, supply and demand. I mean, just simple math that a 2-year-old can do. So, more demand for oil, shorter supply. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, man, before, there weren't as many folk out on the road driving around, so there wasn't as much of a demand for the oil, therefore the fucking goddamn price drop. And because they had to make it attractive, like, yo, you ain't buying oil? Come on, nigga, someone buy some oil from us, please, $1 a gallon, right now. Come on, get you a fucking, gallon of oil, or $1. Oh, what did someone say? Or $1. You know what I'm saying? And then you could get you a fucking gallon of gas. Some 1950s type shit. You know what I'm saying? And post-World War II, type shit. But now that's not the case everywhere. And so the prices are going back up. Those are key indicators in a healthy economy. Surge, stock, spike, bull market. It's not the bear that's hibernating, that's hoarding all the food and shit, staying in the bear cave. Nah, it's the bull that's rushing with the horns like, Rush. Shout outs to Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh. You know what I'm saying? Who had been talking about the roaring, soaring, booming economy, which we're getting back to. Yeah, man, we're America. We persevere. We are resilient. We are agile. We are fucking on top of shit. And our allies as well. Five Eyes, shout outs to Echelon. Five Eyes, global surveillance, community, organization, network, club. You know what I'm saying? Spy network. Global intercept. So, yeah, I know some people from Australia, government officials. I'm just saying, man, I know. Look. Truth be told, man, I work in international affairs. You know what I'm saying? I'm a rap artist by day. At night, I do other shit. You feel me? I have a history of being in and out of embassies, schmoozing, rubbing elbows, greasing palms and shit, doing fucking ops. I'm just saying, man, doing deals, man, making arrangements, liaising, setting up networks, so that they can coordinate, communicate, and handle business together. You know what I'm saying, man? Establishing relationships, establishing rapport, back channels type shit in the event that America needs like connections that weren't previously in existence. One Sir Grove inserted himself into that equation like, yo, what up, man? You ought to be doing business with us. Fuck these other niggas type shit, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, getting back to business. Not that we ever were not in business. I'm just saying asymmetric warfare, asymmetric intel operations is the type of shit in which we specialize, that we do. You heard that? So, yeah, man, I always knew that I'd come out to the East and be a political operative. I studied, man. I went to school. I studied, man. I did my homework, and I come from a long line of war fighters, and I was like, yo, I have to honor my family name. I'm going to have to become a civilian U.S. Gov Intel contractor and do what I can do in my little tiny, microscopic, special kind of sort of way. You know what I'm saying? Ripple effect, chain reaction, domino effect, butterfly effect, CERN type shit. I'm just saying, man, D-Wave. Yeah, before I moved the operation in New York, yeah, they let me into DARPA a couple times, man. I was inside talking to program managers. Listen, man, truth is fucking stranger than fiction. You know what I'm saying? Data mining, I'm just saying, man, just secret shit that just would blow niggas' minds if they knew the truth. They would be like, man, this is some shit out of a movie. How is this even possible? I thought this nigga was ludicrous. I thought he was just making this shit up. I thought this nigga was bonkers. Like, it turns out this shit is real. Yeah, nigga, this shit always been real. Fool, wake up. I thought you was woke. So, I'm just saying, man, if you looked at my profile back when I was a kid, man, in my early 20s and shit, having brushes and run-ins with, like, law enforcement and shit, then a nigga became law enforcement. You know what I'm talking about? Brazy shit, my nigga. International, in scope type shit. Look, man, I'm a humble dude. When you out here working asymmetric intel ops, you have to know how to turn it on and turn it off. And leading up to and after 9/11, when I presented myself, when I availed myself, look, man, okay, so I'm going to let y'all in on a little secret. When I was with the IT squad, the Goonie crew, my IT nerd friends, hashtag nerd power, you know what I'm saying? Hashtag knowing some shit. I'm just saying, man, growing up, man, with with the geek, posse and shit, rolling with geeks and nerds, which I am, you know what I'm saying? Proud to be. Hashtag proud to be. Look, the reality of it is that information is fucking not just key, but it's power. Intelligence information is fucking power. Doesn't matter who the fuck you are. You can be an enemy of the United States of America, which is not a good thing for you if you are, but you can be an enemy of the United States and still wield tremendous fucking goddamn power if you have key intel. So when I worked at some of these different agencies as an intel contractor, they gave me latitude as a civilian contractor to basically mingle with foreign, embassies and diplomats and to do some shit that a lot of niggas just weren't willing to do. And would, they just look, I've offered motherfuckers when I've had opportunities, man, through agencies to like hook niggas up with jobs and shit, like smart dudes I know. Like, hey, bro, like I got this contract, you willing to go abroad overseas on some shit? You know what I'm saying? So many niggas freeze up. They just get scared, man, and they ain't real about shit. There are a lot of opportunities after 9/11. I'll give you an example. So I knew this woman. She connected me to this contract. It was shit was like $200 million contract, and they were hiring linguists to send abroad into these combat zones. I'm not going to name the name of the company or where it's located or go into particulars or details, but I have a global database of U.S. intelligence officers and foreign that I created, that I put together, that I designed, going back decades. And because I interviewed folks and I took applications, and my team, my network, we scrutinized those applicants and applications and submissions. So we have that in terms of our Rolodex. And then we had to prove to the U.S. Gov that we could do the shit that we were, telling the Gov that we could do. We're like, yo, man, we come from background. Dumpster diving for hardware, software, you know what I'm saying? In fact, we uncovered this one company. This company, man, was a logistics company, and they would help the U.S. military and their families move anywhere in the world. I'm talking about every possession. If you had a number 2 pencil, they had that shit written down in a fucking database. Number 2 pencil. Straight up, like they accounted for every single possession in your household. And when you moved, they tracked all your shit, they shipped all your shit, they databased every fucking thing. Some people got to pick up and move within days, weeks, months. They move every couple of years, every year. Whatever the time frame is, that's what this logistics company did. Only problem with this fucking logistics company, man, is that it was deceiving the military and the military families because it wasn't shredding the paper properly. Instead, it was just throwing all of this information in a dumpster. Now, a hacker buddy of mine from the Seattle area, who used to be a roommate of mine, who was engaged to this foreign national, I won't mention his name or her name. We were college roommates, and then we started to do business together. He and I did. And he and I were basically bidding on government contracts together. And this was leading up to and after 9/11. So he and I, he taught me some things about war dialing, using modems and whatnot. Shit you would see like in the movie War Games with Matthew Broderick. We were doing the same type of shit. Breaking into networks and, spoofing IP addresses, rerouting through here, through there, bypassing this, circumventing these systems and shit. Because back in the day, man, before they had all these different firewalls and whatnot, man, it was kind of easy to like piggyback off like university computer networks. I could dial into like a university in, say, like California. I could assume the university's IP address as my own. And then from that point to point connection, I could dial into whatever IP address, whatever computer network, backbone, system, gateway, what have you, and then just do whatever I did. And then anyone doing the tracer route, you know what I'm saying? Anyone doing the data link analyses. Back then, keep in mind, this is before Norton, VPN. This was before Zone Alarm. Zone Alarm. This is way before all of that shit even existed. So in order to trace all that data, if you didn't have the money, if you weren't the U.S. military government, chances are you wouldn't have been able to trace that shit to its point of origin. You'd just be lost at the university computer network. Because how many fucking devices log on to a university computer network within, every hour, every minute, around the clock, 24-7, 365. So it was like searching for, a needle in a haystack. So we were doing that shit, and one day we happened to come upon this, and we would find computers that were discarded and software that was discarded. We found all kinds of shit. We power it on, and we studied cyberpunk culture. We were cyberpunk culture. We come from that culture. I'm almost 50 years old, so I've been doing this shit since I was a kid, man. And point is that we uncovered one day this dumpster filled with the treasure trove of information. I'm just going to tell you straight up, man. My parents were both military. So looking at these reams of data, I'm talking about stacks, thicker than fucking phone books, of social security numbers, every fucking item in a military household, every fucking thing in someone's home, okay? That type of information, dude, just sitting there in a dumpster, knowing, we immediately automatically knew that this company was not doing what it was supposed to do. It was violating the what was supposed to be confidential information, highly fucking confidential, classified data. I'm talking about that dumpster contained the records of hundreds of persons, where they had been in the world, bank account information, different addresses where they lived, every fucking item that they had in their homes, where they were going to next. If someone other than us had come upon that information, dude, that shit on the black market was worth not just a fortune, but to foreign intelligence services, priceless. So you know what a nigga named One Sir Grove did? Yeah, I'm going to tell you what I did. I took this shit to the FBI. And so did my homeboy. Fucking think I didn't? First of all, I'm not stupid, nigga. Okay? I'm not fucking stupid. The fact that I even saw that information, that I came into possession of it, that I had been exposed to it, I already knew I had to cover all my bases. First thing I'm going to do, contact the FBI. Yo, check gang. Handed over the intel. And they thanked us for that shit. Yeah, that's not an ongoing investigation. That's not something that the FBI is currently investigating. That shit was like 20 fucking years ago. And that was a fucking good deed that we did. Selfless act, good Samaritans. Now, if we were bad guys, if we were black hats, you already know what we could have done with that information. This shit was before the dark web. That's how long ago this shit was. Man, and look, we monitored that particular group over the course of months. That wasn't the only time that they had dumped shit. We collected the shit and transferred it accordingly. And then the FBI took over. So, these motherfuckers who don't know us and they don't know what my network does and they have no idea our backstory or our background, we've been assisting the U.S. government in operations for a fucking long time, doing our little tiny small part. And that's just a fraction of the shit that we've done. Yeah, we've delivered intel to top agencies, all the way up to CIA. I'm just being honest. I'm not talking about anything specifically in detail, any particulars. I'm not giving away anything. I'm not Edward fucking Snowden. I'm not a traitor to the United States of America. When I was a kid, when I was like 12 years old, my mother, she said, loose lips sink ships. And she was U.S. Navy for over 20 fucking 7 years. That's real shit. So, and she was at an embassy in Nairobi, Kenya, that was bombed by terrorists almost a year to the day. Had she been there 1 year later, she would have been blown to fucking smithereens. Yeah. Loose lips sink ships. So we don't fuck around. We don't play. I'll give you another example. So I was contacted by this individual shortly after 9/11. He's a surveillance expert. And I won't name any particular countries. I'll just say he was in Oceania because that's where he was. And he's a surveillance expert. And he called us out of the blue because he saw the link at the time to one of our portals. And so he hit us up and was like, yo, I sell this type of equipment and it's military grade, high level shit. It's expensive. He said, look, man, I know that y'all coordinate ops as private citizens, as civilians with the U.S. Gov. He said, man, these motherfuckers won't return my telephone calls. I know they're inundated and flooded with all these calls post 9/11. He said, man, if y'all know some people, if y'all know some folks and you could get this intel to them, it might be vitally important for your government and other governments to be apprised of this information. So I took a look at the data along with other persons within our private network, intel gathering network. We looked at it, and over the course of several months, he continued to send us IP addresses, receipts, transactional receipts, invoices, billing statements, records, accounting statements of all of this business that he had been doing with these foreign nationals, because they were buying, that is purchasing from him, in the dark surveillance equipment, infrared cameras and all this type of stuff. And not just that, but other types of surveillance equipment that's expensive. So these people he knew, and the various countries that they were connecting to him or with him, the various countries that they were connecting with him from were countries that were on U.S. State Department do not do business lists. Okay, so they were on terrorist watch lists. And you can go back and probably figure out those countries. I'm not going to give any dates, and I'm not going to mention those countries in particular because there were a lot of countries at the time. It wasn't just one country, and it wasn't just a handful. It was a shitload of countries. So, the do not export list. And I sold software for a while, in addition to that, for a major company, a major U.S. company. And so I would also see those lists so many years later down the road. So he shared with us that because he's not in the U.S. or was not in the U.S., he's not a U.S. citizen, never was, he's not an American, he's in a foreign country. So he was legally, where he was able to sell this stuff to these countries. But it was a legal gray area. It was a legal gray area because the U.S. Gov didn't want just Americans to not export to these countries, but also had asked foreign allies, international partners, to not export to these countries. So he happened to be selling this shit to these different individuals, and he turned over all the data to us. So after 9/11, as our government was reshuffling, and I'm not going to mention the operational code name for that particular operation, but there was a code name that we assigned to that particular operation, whereby we had this person, this connection, this asset, if you will, in Oceania. If you're familiar, those of you who are, with Oceania and where that is in the world, we had this connection. We had this asset providing us with the wealth of information, similar to what we found north of Seattle in the dumpster over the course of several weeks and months. This person connected us to and with a treasure trove of information, similar in nature, greater, larger in magnitude. And so looking at that information, anyone of a competent adult rational mind would immediately identify it for what it was and know that these persons were probably unruly and unscrupulous because there was a pattern to it. The countries, the amount, the volume, the dollar value, and the type of equipment. Now, how long do you think it would take for U.S. intelligence to jump at that opportunity, to seize that opportunity, and to use that information as an inroad into those different terrorist organizations and networks? Keep in mind that despite the fact that post 9/11, U.S. Congress and the U.S. government mandated that FBI and CIA coordinate more efficiently, better, more effectively, man, to this day, those agencies don't fucking share intel in any type of ideal manner. Yeah, they share some information, but they'll never share information completely, entirely. There's a complete and total almost disconnect culturally, institutionally. I'm saying workplace culture, institutional culture. The two different entities are completely diametrically different, polar opposite in nature. FBI is a law enforcement organization, and though there are some aspects of intelligence, obviously, because they gather criminal intelligence information and what have you, and they do international investigations, they conduct international investigations. CIA is a foreign intelligence gathering organization. Completely fucking diametrically polar opposite, different from that of FBI. And the two entities do not trust each other, and I understand why CIA does not trust FBI. I completely, totally, entirely understand, and I don't trust FBI. After everything that I've learned as an American born and raised U.S. patriot, I just don't, and I have no qualms about saying that. So the point is, but when I was younger and I was working my way up in the chain of command as a civilian, I studied from the canon of intel, from the tradecraft canon, and knowing what I knew even back then, I knew that as a young intelligence professional, civilian intelligence professional, I knew that one of the first steps in the intel industry business game, if you will, air quotes, game, is to learn the maze of U.S. government bureaucracy. Not just learn about and familiarize oneself with the vast number of intelligence organizations and agencies. They're not all public. When you look at that circle, when you look at that ring of all those various U.S. intelligence agencies, there are other agencies that exist that are classified. The names of those agencies, what they do, and they're not a matter of public record. They're not available publicly. That information, as such information, pertains to those respective classified agencies. There are agencies that exist with mission statements, budgets, personnel, staff, full-on funding, and the public will never know the names of those agencies and what it is that those agencies do. So that's one of the first things that an intelligence professional will do is ought to do ideally is familiarize himself, herself with the labyrinthine, that is the labyrinth of the maze of it all, of the numerous components, the various components, the plethora of intelligence community components. What they do, what's their function, how do they operate, who are they, where are they, who, what, when, where, why, how. And so naturally, as someone begins her career in intel, at first I was like, fuck it, we got this intel, got to take it to FBI, got to take it to CIA, got to take it to DOD, got to take it to, whomever, right? Well, as you go down that rabbit hole, at some point, you refine your tradecraft, and you kind of narrow your focus a bit, and you become a lot more selective in terms of who the fuck you deal with, for obvious reasons. And so in that, it took a while. It took a while for anyone in U.S. intelligence to really understand in any kind of significant, substantial way the significance of the information that we were disseminating with regard to the asset that we had established in Oceania. And we're talking about a shitload of information being piped to us, forwarded to us, relayed to us, sent to us over the course of, quite frankly, multiple years. Because Western intelligence was kind of fucking stupid at that time in a lot of respects. And I say that out of respect to my country, U.S. Intel, the community IC, and that's just a reality. I have to be honest. The U.S. intelligence community was continuing to reorganize itself and overhaul itself, and there were a lot of agencies that just lent deaf ears. You could call these motherfuckers and say, "Hey, look, I'm in the room with terrorists right now." And they would be like, "What do you want us to do about it?" Shit like that. Just smug motherfuckers. And that's just the nature of the beast, man. And the other thing that I've learned is, as a U.S. intelligence professional, one of the things that I've learned is that a lot of agencies, man, they pose, they front, they fake, and they perpetrate, and they pretend and broadcast that they can do shit that they just can't fucking do. I'm just saying, listen, you have the movies and then you have reality. Now, don't get me wrong. There are technologies classified beyond imagination, of course. But in terms of the sheer number of things going on, occurring around the clock, simultaneously, the simultaneity of it all, the sheer number of instances, the sheer volume of instances of things as they relate to the world of intel globally, U.S. intel isn't always ready to jump at any and everything. And you can see countless cases of information being presented, vital, crucial, in hindsight, retroactively speaking. If you go back and look at these mistakes that our intel community as a whole made, because they had the intel, it was delivered, it was provided, it was right fucking there in America's face, and America failed to act on it. You can see countless fucking cases of that type of shit. So back in the early 2000s, 2001, and even before that, when we formed our private sector intelligence gathering organization network, of course, the U.S. government was like, "Who the fuck are you guys? Why should we listen to you? Fuck off. Don't call us anymore." And we're like, okay, we're going to call you right back as soon as you fucking hang up on us, until you stupid ass pieces of shit, fucking pretentious, presumptuous, dismissive motherfuckers understand what it is that we're attempting to communicate to your fucking dumbasses, because we hold the key. We have the intel that we know you are supposed to act on. And if you don't do it, then we'll just give it to another agency. And ultimately, you'll be looked upon as a bunch of stupid fucking dipshits. Yeah, zillion-dollar spy agencies aren't always as agile as they pretend to be. And as a lot of the public is misled to believe based on fucking movies and popular lore fiction. Yeah, and I'm talking about top agencies. I'm just saying, how did the NSA go dark on 9/11? I thought they were the fucking NSA. I thought that they were redundantly backed up on batteries that despite what might happen, thermonuclear war, whatever, those computers similar to what is at CIA, they don't skip a beat. Their computers never go offline. Well, that's weird. If that's a $1 zillion program in and of itself, those batteries, redundantly backed up computers that can never go offline, even if America were to, knock on wood, God forbid, be hit with a thermonuclear blast. Yeah, if those computers are built underground and stored underground, miles underground, to keep NSA computers online and the surveillance grid online indefinitely, perpetually, well then how did the system go dark on 9/11? That's weird. It's fucking weird. Oh, scam likely. Why don't you fuck off, fag? Fuck off, stupid fag. These fucking goddamn fags. You know, man, they have the new protocol that's about to roll out 2021. FCC has announced that telecoms must block 100% spam calls by a certain day in 2021. But you know what's interesting? Why didn't that happen already? Why has FCC and the U.S. government allowed for spam callers even to this day? Why isn't that already enforced in effect? I mean, I'm just asking, why is the government so slow a lot of times to do shit? Like, stop. I mean, look at the movies with NSA doing all this, like, enemy of the state, Will Smith, type shit, right? Okay? Yeah. Enemy of the state, NSA, fucking satellites in space, secret space program. We're really already on Venus. We've already sent off-world personnel, military, 20 and back programs through fucking time tunnels, portals and shit. Montauk, Philadelphia experiment, NSA, deep space. We're already on Mars, pretending like we're going there for the first time in a year out from now with Elon Musk, even though we've had bases on Mars and other fucking star systems. But it can't stop fucking spammers, huh? Yeah, can't stop spam on a cell phone. Yeah, that's weird. You know what I'm saying? That's strange. And so they got to push the date out to 2021. That's so fucking bizarre. Yeah, you already know, based on what I just conveyed, that shit doesn't make any sense. You'd think they'd do that shit after 9/11. Why would they allow these foreign companies that harass and accost Americans with all these zillions of fucking calls every day, flooding our systems with these bogus ass calls? Yeah, sir, ma'am, we're just calling about your vehicle insurance. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, and by the way, in every other fucking scheme and scam under the sun. If it says scam likely, if the fucking telecom companies' computers can recognize that it's likely a scam, then why do they even send the signal to you? I don't know. That's kind of weird. But we have a Mars rover that can send precision, laser, crystal, fucking clear, LED quality shit back to Earth. Boom. HDTV. This is what's on Mars. We think we think we know now. We believe that aliens are hiding underground and they don't want us to know that they have a fully functional underground advanced breakaway civilization. They might actually be humans. But robocallers, we'll be blocking them, I think like in 2021-ish. It's like, man, these people are stupid fucking fags, dude. Their lies and shit, man. All of their fucking deception. All of the misdirection. All of the illusions. How they, attempt to enslave humanity. Pay your taxes. We'll deal with robocallers. Yeah, like in some years from now, while they harass you during the coronavirus global pandemic, it's not a priority for us to block spam callers. Senior citizens who are trying to make dinner for themselves already having issues like making a meal, but, their cell phones are ringing and they think that it's a family member. And, someone gets on the phone and tells the senior that, who has partial dementia, early onset, that spammer is a nephew or a grandchild or whomever in the family and needs some money because people are there and kidnap that person. And in order to save that person's life, grandma who's trying to cook dinner, who has a walking cane stick chair, right? She has to send this person like $20,000 out of her life savings within 20 minutes or that person's going to be killed. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it's totally legitimate for telecoms currently to allow spam callers, right? It's not a priority. It wasn't a priority to block spam callers last year or the year before or the year before that or 10 years ago. No, but they'll do it in 2021. They'll do it in 2021. You know what, man? These superficials, these quasi-officials, these people like Nancy fucking dick-sucking Pelosi, this stupid fucking wretched, scummy fucking bitch who should have in any type of real world, ideal world that functions efficiently and makes fucking real sense. Yeah, she should have been arrested a long time ago. In fact, I talked about it today on Twitter. There's a fucking piece of shit judge that sentenced a woman to jail. Senior woman. I can't remember if she was in her 80s or 70s. Regardless, she's a senior woman. She fed feral cats. Okay, cats that have not been spayed, neutered. They live outdoors. They're basically wild, but they're mammals. They live on Earth. They're felines. They need to eat, and she felt bad for them. They're out behind her home, so she fed them. Someone fucking snitched on her, so the judge unashamedly gave her jail time. Just some piece of shit male, some man, callous, doesn't give a shit about grandma, her life. She might have a cardiac arrest in jail because it's just so fucking traumatic, and all she was trying to do were feed some cats. That's the type of shit, man. That's the type of shit that keeps me fucking going. Yeah. Just knowing what type of fucking enemies, man, lurk within our government. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad, man, and proud that I come from a long line of U.S. veterans, military veterans and warfighters, man. And growing up in the Pacific Northwest and seeing the corruption there, which led to what you see now, Seattle is Dying documentary, and knowing what I know about our government since I've worked in government extensively out here in the East, having been in 25 states myself, more than half the U.S. and out of country. Hey, man, they can put a senior woman who is just trying to feed cats in jail. They can put her in jail. And they refuse to put Nancy fucking Pelosi in fucking jail, dude. Nancy Pelosi, who wants to feed buildings. Yeah, she wants to feed buildings. Yeah, give the fucking John F. Kennedy Center $25 million. $25 million that could go to starving U.S. military veterans. Homeless U.S. military veterans. People who fought for that bitch to be able to fucking drink water that's clean and eat food that's not contaminated and be able to stand up on a podium and talk the shit that she does and to do the type of shit that she does and to live in her fucking gated community. She can give $25 million to the John F. Kennedy Center and $2 billion total for other fucking stupid ass programs. Listen, man, fuck John F. Kennedy. He wasn't a fucking nice guy. He wasn't a nice dude. John F. Kennedy was a fucking piece of shit American. He was a fucking traitor to America. The shit he did, Marilyn Monroe, the shit that motherfucker did, him and his fucking family, dude, he's a piece of shit. I don't give a fuck about the Kennedy Center. I don't give a fuck about the Kennedy Center. That stupid ass bitch, U.S. Congress, deep state, by them allocating over $2 billion to brick and mortar buildings. cement, concrete, as opposed to taking that $2 billion and feeding starving, struggling Americans. I should already tell you right there why it is that I do what I do in this field of asymmetric warfare, and how and why I communicate and broadcast the type of shit that I do that is polar opposite and diametrically opposed to deep state and their communications, its communications. I don't give a fuck about Nancy Pelosi. I don't give a fuck about her life. I don't give a fuck about her safety. I don't give a fuck about her existence. I'm One Sir Grove.